It should be running.
It sure should be.
A lot of things
It
should.
hit the ground running.
Yeah. Oh, you better go catch it. Okay. Yeah, it appears to be coming on. Hey, that's not. What is that?
That's Hiruya, something like that. Haruhi, what was her name?
Are you having a
Hyru.
stroke?
Hyru. I did every combination of the letters except for the correct one.
Yeah, for the right one.
Right one.
Hyru, that's it. Yeah.
Hyru.
Yeah, my favorite, my new favorite character. Well, shit. This was a great week for manga, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It was good.
I'm never gonna eat this good again.
No. Yeah, sadly.
Probably will.
I was reading Tokyo Ghoul and I was like, is this the end? This the rest of the chapters they don't exist? Like, it feels like it's about to end because it felt like just the end of all things. Like, people are dying, the fucking long established characters are perishing. It looked like the fucking owl was gonna die. Kaneki's back. I was like, fuck it, this is the end, right? This is the end of the manga. This is how it ends. It's over. But man, speaking of which, there's the raid on the Tsukiyama Manor, and mostly the other building, but you know.
Yeah, mostly
but that's okay. Let's not get lost in the details. Fuck.
Except them.
What the hell happened? So much stuff happened. I don't remember.
Just read it only 5 seconds ago.
I did, but
I had to scroll.
It's still open, actually.
I was overcome with feelings, and so I was okay. Well, yeah, they went in, and those crafty ghouls, those sneaky bastard ghouls, are all like, "Oh, I give in. I want to live as a human. Please take us, sir." Yeah, it was all a ruse. It was all a ruse to save the gourmet.
I love Tsukiyama's father as a character.
He's very funny. So there's something endearing about there's something endearing about someone whose face is just a Groucho Marx mask, and he just never changes facial expressions. He's just like, yes, I am here. Yeah, this was this was a 10 out of 10 stretch, and part of why it's a 10 out of 10, I love that one of my favorite guys just is getting so much, like, he's almost like a main character now. Like, no, Tsukiyama.
Tsukiyama.
Yeah, Tsukiyama is like, it's all about the Tsukiyama now. Like, that's just so weird considering part 1. Like, reading part 1, you wouldn't think that he would be more important than Toka, at least so far. But he's got more scenes and he's done more stuff and he's gone through much more of like an arc. Like, he just this was really fucking heartfelt and just like everyone fucking falling on their swords for him, and him just like showing how much of a compassionate weirdo he is, despite like initial impressions where he was just like a psychotic cannibal. Yeah, so yeah, everyone they all give themselves in so that he can get away, and then yeah, he goes to like one of the buildings that's owned by the Tsukiyama conglomerate, and there's a bunch of other ghouls there who are all like, we're here to help you, man. And they're having like nice banter between them. They're like, oh, I remember when he was a little kid. Oh, I wish he would model for my model agency. And then the guys come in and they slice one of them in half immediately. He's like, they all just die. Everyone dies.
They get thrashed. Yeah,
they do. It's very funny. The guy's like has like goofy face, and then he's like doing an Indian prayer, and then he gets slices clean in half, and it's like, yeah. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. So fuck. I'm kind of rambling here, but shit. Well,
this is the rambling arc. I said off stream last time that this is probably my favorite Tokyo Ghoul Re arc, and it used to be my favorite arc in the entire story, but I'm not sure about
Yeah,
that.
you said you were
No.
yeah you said you thought it was before, but now having reread both of them, I guess you might have changed your opinion. I'm gonna say this is my favorite, probably.
I mean, the thing is, I think this arc only really hits with full power if you have no idea what's coming.
Oh, well, sure. Well, then,
Oh,
exactly.
Want to say something, Michi?
No. I seriously did not read ahead, I swear. I promise.
Okay.
I did not read ahead in any of these mangas, except for Nausicaä, which I've read. I was saying oh shit earnestly. Like, I feel bad now because, like, present Michi is like, damn. I mean, it's hard to compete with the other one had more gains because it's, like, the actual final...
Yeah,
you know,
it
battle
like
scene and for all Jaws and you reading at the time, it really was the actual ending. So it has all the like dramatic stakes and you know, I knew, for example, like Kaneki isn't gonna fucking die here because there's like 140 chapters left. Whereas if it was just the end of Tokyo Ghoul and he gets stabbed through the head, you're like, oh shit.
Well, it's not a problem, but for me, it's more like on reread. Like on my first read, I liked the like this arc more than the final arc of Tokyo Ghoul, and on this read, like having reread the final arc for Tokyo Ghoul as well, I like that one a bit more than the arc we just read.
I was saying before we I was saying before we started, I think Tokyo Ghoul Re is much more consistent than Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
But I feel like the good stuff in Tokyo Ghoul was better than the good stuff in Re. I feel like the middle third, or the last half, however you want to say it, of Tokyo Ghoul, when the author had when there was still the early weirdness, but the author had hit his stride and learned how to draw and all that, I feel like that was the best part of it. Where Tokyo Ghoul Re, every chapter feels, this is unfair to say, feels kind of the same, just in the sense that there's a very consistent tone. It's like a bit of banter, a bit of exposition, a bunch of fights, a bit of banter, a bit of exposition, bunch of fights, and everything is very competent. It's very even-handed, I would say.
I see what you're saying. It was kind of exciting when reading Tokyo Ghoul, the first one. Yeah, that stretch from
the halfway point.
Yeah, from Kaneki getting white hair and it becoming like this crazy thing where you didn't really know where the story was going. But I mean, for me, it's like that, but much less intense. Like for me, it's a lot closer probably because I really like these. And also, I still don't know what the fuck he's gonna do with the story because he just pulls out stuff I'm not expecting very often. So I'm like, shit. I mean, I just said that thing like I knew Kaneki wasn't gonna die, but for all I know, maybe Kaneki just dies halfway through the manga and then it changes main characters. Like fuck, I don't know. He's a madman. I tells you, he's a fucking madman. Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember like reading that arc like for Re, I had to read it weekly because it was still coming out, and I remember like at let's call the highest, the most impressive part of this arc, just getting up from my chair and having to pace up and down in my room.
I got emotional at various points, and it wasn't just the excellent Zetsubo Sensei soundtrack, but man, this translation says freaking instead of fucking. That's very funny. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you flipping kidding me? Yes.
Is that freaking Ghoul face?
Is that the freaking epic Kaneki? Have some Reddit gold, sir. Fuck. Okay. Well, before we get into the big stuff,
thanks for the stranger's kind Ghoul.
I don't even know like what to zero in on because like there was so much stuff. How about
we can just go chronologically.
I'm trying to remember what happened chronologically before because it kept like switching back between various fights as he is wont to do.
And there was a big overlap with the Suki. I always fuck his name up. Tsukiyama.
Yeah, Tsukiyama.
There was or what's his shorter name? Is it Yu?
Shu.
2.
Yeah.
There was a big overlap where it was cutting back and forth between him and other stuff.
and the other stuff, yeah. And then this arc, the shoe was on the other foot. Because
Yeah. and dropped.
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Well, fuck. I wanted to go back to or to continue to what was the head butler's name? Matsumoe.
You mean Matsume?
Matsume. Yeah, that stuff was fucking incredible. Like her fight with Hyrule. Yeah, that was some peak shit. That had some of the best panel compositions and drawings I've seen like ever. I was so hype and happy. And I was like not I wasn't crying, but I was like welling up at certain parts. I don't know why. Like I just the quality of the artwork was so like exactly in my ballpark during certain parts. And like every little character got like these nice little like flashback scenes. Like just that I don't know why, just like every minor guy. The scene specifically like that was like very funny like payoff and setup and payoff where the guy's like, don't slip on the blood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Earlier he's like, don't slip on the blood, and I was thinking of just recently me and Green were watching the Hunter x Hunter episode where Nav almost slips on the ant blood and he has to take his shoes off, and I was like, oh shit, that's scary. I hope she doesn't slip on the blood, and then she slips on the fucking blood, and I was like, god damn it. And spoilers, I knew she was gonna die because
No.
I did, but I didn't know if she was gonna die here because I swear I wasn't trying to do anything. When the guy, is it Ui his name, like the black hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Ui showed up, I was like, who is Ui? And I went and looked on the wiki, and I just clicked on his name, and it was like Ui, and then it shows him in part 1. It's like, oh right, it's that guy. And because he showed up with her, I clicked on her name too, and I just happened to glance that it said deceased in the fucking bio, and I was like, fuck you, but fucking spoiler tag that, you stupid fucking wiki.
One of the classic blunders.
Yeah, one of the classic blunders of going to a wiki. So I was like, god damn it, she's gonna die at some point. But I was like, whatever. Then she slips on the blood, and I'm like, god fucking damn. But I thought she was gonna die just there. I didn't expect her to be like, give me the fucking Quinke and to shoot a laser beam. And the greatest scene of all time ensues when the guy jumps into the laser beam, and then he pulls a Netero, and he's like, do you think I need my torso to pray? And he fucking, and that was the best drawing. And then the bottom section was like the best sequence of pages of her just like looking at Arima. And yeah, and it was black hair again, and then just getting fucking slashed in half. And then Chainsaw Guy is like, oh, she fucked up, runs in and gets... I was like laughing out loud at the fucking... He's just... That head butler just took out so many fucking ghoul investigators. She's a real fucking MVP. And he starts talking about nonsense when he gets his brain scrambled by his own chainsaw. I was like, this is the best manga I've ever read. Just every like scene was just like one-upping itself, and just like amazing artwork and just happenings and just giving no fucks. Just I expected those two guys to like, not her because I spoiled myself, but I expected those guys to be like long, like in the story for a lot longer than they were. Yeah. They're just sort of splattered corpse on the floor with blood everywhere, and I was like, this just like Tails gets trolled. Like no one gives a fuck. Like just anyone can die at any moment. Like it's just like it's just madness.
You were definitely the first person to compare Tokyo Ghoul to Tails gets
in a good way. In the same way that
actually
Tails
the second
gets...
person, because a few hours earlier I compared that one image to Tails gets trolled.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe that's what it was all meant. But yeah,
maybe that's why.
Just like Tails gets trolled as a masterpiece, so is Tokyo Ghoul. It was just super exciting. I was just pumped. I was emotional. I was jumping up in my chair. I was laughing and crying. It was just everything I want out of art. I was like, this is true art, viewers. This is exactly what it means. Yeah.
The stupid thing is Ishida gets it wrong with the my torso is useless thing. It's not the torso that's useless. Yeah, it's the lower body.
Yeah, the translation. That is weird that every translation is just like...
Yeah, every translation on this is wrong. Or rather, like, says the same thing.
I guess he meant his lower torso, because he's kind of just like... Yeah, he should have said my abdomen is useless. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still a cool scene.
But yeah, you
Just
know,
unexpected.
minor writing. Well, writing is stupid anyway. What matters is the artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got a very weird scene where that lady was just like a traitor. That was kind of a confusing sequence because she looks almost
Lady?
exactly. Is that a lady or a guy? It looks like a lady.
That's the guy.
Okay, well
That's
he
the
looks.
guy. Like
He looks. Okay, well, you
right?
should work on your fucking differentiating characters once more, because not only do boys look like girls and girls look like boys all the time, and then you use that as like a clever subversion, but then also in the same panel you have a character who looks just like the head butler fighting the head butler, and I'm like, who's who? It's like flipping right to left, and I'm like, which way am I reading this? What? Who was? Does that like in that panel where she puts someone in front of her? It looks like there's two of her on either side of the guy, and the guy looks like he's confused because someone duplicated. I was like, oh, is that her? Is that her Kagure? Does she make another of herself? What's going on?
That was him. Like his name's Furuta.
Okay.
He just moved one of his investigator buddies in front of him.
And he's just like a guy who. At first, I thought he was just like saving his own ass, but then it seems he's actually working with the ghouls because he tipped them off on the locations of the getaway vehicles. Yeah, so he was with Aogiri Tree. Cool. I don't know if he is a ghoul. I assume not. It just seems to be there seems to be more humans in cahoots with the ghouls lately.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw like the omake at the end of this volume.
I skim read the omake because I was in a rush. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
I get it. Because Ishida gave us a little flashback. We have seen this person before. And in the omake, we basically see the same scene again, but from his perspective. If you remember in the first Tokyo Ghoul manga when Toka was visiting the university and she saw someone that reminded her of Kaneki.
Oh
and,
yeah.
That was him.
Oh my god!
Oh,
what the
okay.
fuck? Why would you even do that? like,
Yeah,
like Ishida just like does things that like 1% of the audience will ever like notice. If people who fucking notice that without having it told to them were like pointing at their screen like Leonardo DiCaprio, like, whoa, this is a fucking guy. What the hell? That's. Oh my god.
There's like another clue to his identity. In dialogue, he says when he kills Matsume, he says like something like "Sorry, Mr. MM," and I don't know.
Yeah,
anyone of you knows what that means.
MM-san. Well,
Yes.
I thought that was just like abbreviating because her name has two M's in it. But I guess not. What does that mean?
MM was the alias that Tsukiyama used in the Ghoul restaurant.
Oh, right.
So we know he was there. Well, we will
My
get like
mind-
next arc.
My
we will get more.
mind is blown.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he just has like the big Always Sunny in Philadelphia chart on his wall. And he's like scribbling. Ishida just has
Ishida, yeah.
No, Ishida. Like Ishida just has like all four walls in his ceiling just like covered in writing. When the assistants come in, they have to walk over stacks of like yarn and notes and be like, "What's up?" It's like...
Yeah, he likes doing stuff like that.
Yes.
And that's what I like.
Yeah. I really thought like Yoko Taro. I really thought Yoko Taro was gonna be like, oh, I'm inciting them into a rage by being like, haha, I tortured your friends to death, and like he was gonna be able to get the drop on MM-san, and then no, he just fucking dies. At least yeah, it was funny. It was funny that she missed at the end, and he was like, "Sorry, missed, lol," and stabbed her. I was like, "Yeah."
He fucking poked her eyes out.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah.
He pulled an arima, as it's known. Yeah. Aim for the eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kaneki tried it with Chachi,
Yeah,
and he got his
he did.
fingers broken.
Yeah. and someone did it again in this. Fuck. I thought so. Didn't it? I thought it happened somewhere else. Fuck, I have to remind.
Mitsuki slices Torso's eye in their first encounter.
No, it was during this fudge. Oh, there it is. That's my favorite. That's my favorite panel sequence. Every drawing and the layouts are just fucking perfect. I don't know why. I just feel strong I would literally like print this out and frame this on my wall. In fact, I will after this.
Yeah, what's stopping you?
Yeah, like it's good with the full page, but it's like totally dissonant. Like they're both amazing drawings, so as a page it gains like, but I like this sequence particularly. Oh man, she was cute. I'm sorry, she's half.
Yeah,
of,
Ishida
she's
said,
in two halves now.
Ishida himself also said like that he regrets killing her so early because he also really liked the character.
Damn it! Why couldn't he have killed? Yeah, I wish they had swapped like investigators, and it had been the guy who got his ribs broken instead. I wish he had died because he's like pretty cool, but I wouldn't mind losing him.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we can stand to lose a few characters. There are a lot of them.
Sure. I just wish the better character designs and the ones that are less mistakable. Like I was never confused who she was when she showed up would stick around for longer. Yeah. Speaking of losing characters, a fucking what is his name? Norio? Noro?
No.
Huh?
No.
No. Okay. He killed a lot of cool investigators. I guess.
Yeah, that one image where like his real appearance comes out is like a bit confusing because you think people take more damage than they actually do.
Yeah, like it looked like he killed everyone, but I guess some of them were just like getting slammed against the walls really hard. Yeah. That was my favorite fucking page turn. I literally went like, "Holy fuck!" Like in real life. I was like, "Jesus Christ, you madman!" Just like that really looked like a pointed ending, like stabbing in the head, stay dead. Just page turn immediately. Everyone just fucking exploded. Yeah, I thought loads of them had died. Then I'm kind of it is kind of confusing to keep track of like the lesser mooks because it's like how many people are in the room. It seems like sometimes there's less people, and then a ghoul doesn't attack and kills more people than were in the first shot. Like more people showed up just to be splattered.
Like that page turns like very reminiscent of the owl coming in the first.
Yeah, there was a lot of good like page turn surprises. He's really he's really fucking. He's just masterful at panel layouts and compositions at this point. It was also cool that I knew Noro, we knew Noro was going to be around because also the Kane had a very similar mask. I was like, oh, it's like this is like an Eto thing, I guess. She likes doing. Also, that panel when Noro was when they're like, we're attacking him. He's an S rank and he has his head fully sideways. I was thinking of the guy from the last stretch, I always forget his name.
From Takurawa.
When Pineapple guy was going crazy and he was like sideways in the panel, it's like wahoo, running around murdering. And also, Kane picked up the guy's head and said it looked like a rose, like the guy said it looked like a pineapple. I was like, damn, there's just a ghoul. When ghouls go crazy, they're like picking body parts and being like, this looks like a thing, haha.
Yeah.
And we got to see Psycho's Kagune. It's like it looks like
first time we actually see it.
It looks like Renji's fucking Bankai, sort of like the big worm. Yeah.
I think it's supposed to look like the caterpillar fungus.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what I thought.
I guess
yeah.
It's kind of weird because it's like a big armored thing, but it has like hairy tendrils on the end that I guess cut. Kind of confusing, but whatever. It looks cool.
Like
I'm sure. Yeah, I guess they had been hinting a while that she was like very strong.
Yeah,
but
we
just
only see like in the previous arc, we only saw the damage she did.
Yeah, we saw like people get like stomped, and I was like, okay, she seems pretty good.
Well, if they keep her around when she's so useless, she has to be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, chapter 50 was called Hand. I didn't notice that. Gotta hand it to him. I don't usually read what the name of the chapters is because I'm too busy looking at the cool
also
artwork.
all puns. Like
they are.
In Re, if you add in Re, when you add the letters RE to it, like everything has like a changed meaning.
Handry?
I don't know what it is. Yeah,
I'm gonna rehand you. Could be
it's like a lot.
If you saw that.
It's like if we had a chapter called Furbish and it was refurbish.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
I don't know, jacked. These aren't words in English, but I imagine it.
So it is.
It makes sense in Japanese probably. Some make sense in English as well.
Recreators.
Yes.
Oh, Damn.
It's all making sense.
I wish
yeah,
I
Yoko
was a
Taro
smart.
really didn't.
Yeah, Yoko Taro did not end up well. I mean, it's his own fault for using a chainsaw as a Kagune. It's a
I mean, the
stupid
actual
weapon,
Yoko
because
Taro would
it's-
think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a stupid weapon
Probably.
because it's running even when you let go of it. Like, although technically it isn't, because if you let go of like the button on a chainsaw, it doesn't keep running. So I don't think Tsuyoshida knows how chainsaws work, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man, even less realistic.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna. Speaking of poking eyes out, I thought he was gonna poke out Tsukiyama's eyes in that 2-page spread, which looked really good too. But he was pointing it more at the neck, I guess. Would have been cooler if it had been the eyes. What else fucking happened? I guess we should just get into Tsukiyama stuff. Yeah, Tsukiyama goes up to the rooftop, and damn, who's waiting for him? It's Sasaki Heisei himself. My favorite guy, except not.
That's gone.
except he's finally gone. All hail the return of the king. Good riddance, soy boy. The virgin Sasaki, the Chad Kaneki. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm sure he'll be back at some point, but fuck, it feels great to
I'm glad
have
we're
our
getting
boy back.
progress on that.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the fight, the internal struggle where he's like, "Don't kill him, but he doesn't know why he doesn't want to kill him.
Yeah, the guy's like, "Don't kill my friend." Yeah, that was awesome. And then we get like the cool. I noticed in the internal thing. Oh wait, no, you should say your thing first, and then I'll say this. Yeah, that's better. Go on.
Nah, I was gonna make a bad joke. It's fine.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say something poignant. I was just gonna say during the internal struggle with Kaneki, where he's like, "Fucking fuck you," you know, and he's like, "Oh, what? I convinced you to protect me just by like just showing up and being like, goo goo gaga, haha, loser." I noticed there were spider lilies in the bottom of the 2-page spread, and I was like, "Ah, that is a thing." I noticed things. That was one of my favorites. Yeah, go on. Sorry, I keep jumping around. I'm too full of energy. Please say things.
Just small. Like spider lilies are intrinsically linked to Tokyo Ghoul, more so in the anime than in the manga. But
you said there were like a death thing, right?
Well. Yeah, they're like supposed to like bloom on the road to hell, or there's like a saying if you like meet a person coming down. Like a path lined with spider lilies, you will never see them again, or something like that.
Ah, that's cool. The road to hell is paved with spider lilies.
Yeah, some stuff. There's like lots of different associations with it.
Yeah.
Well, lilies themselves in the West are the funeral flower. Is that a cross-cultural thing, or are lilies a death flower in the East as well, or is this independent?
I'm not even sure if spider lilies.
Spider lilies are red, but
no, I know they are, but I was wondering if they even are a kind of lily technically, or if it's like one of those things where they were named at a time less scientific, and then they're not even related because they don't look a lot like lilies. Like lilies have a very different petal shape.
Okay. But what I was going to say, when like a student in Japan dies or commits suicide, and in school they put like flowers on their desk, and I'm not sure if those are lilies or if they are
spider lilies are going extinct in Japan.
I mean, it's not spider lilies, but I don't know what type of flower they use for that.
That happened in I will tell this story. That happened in middle school once. In my hometown, there was a car crash, and like 5 kids from our school, died horribly, drowning in a dam. And then the next day, I turned around because there was a guy behind me that I used to always borrow paper from because I was very forgetful. And I turned around, and there was a vase of flowers on the desk behind me, and I went, "Oh, right."
Oh, fuck. Dude, what the hell? I just imagined like a manga page like Pun Pun where you like stick your hand out backwards, and then there was and then to shake your hand was like a flower vase.
Yeah.
That's very bleak. I can't believe you never told anyone that before.
To be fair, it's weird story number 78.
I know. You're just full of surprises. There's just so much more juice to squeeze out of you.
Much like Kaneki bursting out of his own seams.
Yeah, speaking of surprises... Yeah, go on. No, you say.
I was going to say, when the owl character showed up, I enjoyed the design with that.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, visually, like, the hood turning into the eye, and it being...
I did have
Like their body was
I
a
did have
mouth. Yeah.
I did have a moment of being a little confused, just looking at them, going, "How does their body work? What
Yeah.
part connects to what part?"
And then it was like, it's more like the whole thing outside of it is like a Kagune, just like shaped like a creature, and then they're just like hiding out in the mouth.
Yeah,
just,
but she
just
also
hanging
like
out. Yeah.
like I was thinking about this, but since the stuff is basically made from her and her cells and still connected to her, she still feels like everything that
Oh yeah,
gets
no.
cut.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
yes.
it's more like a flesh mech. that
Yeah,
she's
it's like
part of.
yeah, exactly. She's like inside. She was inside of it in a way that kind of reminded me of Rize, stuck in that weird thing where she had like her arms.
Don't
and
say
legs.
her name.
Sorry, I know you're traumatized.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I was gonna say. Speaking of surprises, Kane was a girl. That's why they were so pretty. At least they addressed they have like kind of a squarish jaw because she's like looking in the mirror, being like, "I'm so angular." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's nice that he acknowledges that aspect of the drawings." Still not sure if it was something he meant from the start. I mean, it's weird how much of this there is in Tokyo Ghoul is very strange. Like,
Yeah, and this is the last thing, the last
Okay.
one that. Yeah, but it's Ishida must have been on something that he wanted
yeah,
to
he's
talk
really
about.
into like he's really into like no one actually ever being like gay or trans, just everyone is like pretending not to be what gender they are for some reason. We've got Mutsuki, we had Shizuya's dad, mom, we just have a lot of this. Part one there was stuff. I mean, Shizuya himself is confusing. Like, yeah. But I liked all the visual stuff. That drawing when it shows up under face, like, yeah, it was like one of the coolest.
But it should have been a J instead of a Y. But
Yeah, they're doing it phonetically, I guess. It's like Romanji sort of.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, and
Roman.
yeah, but that thing was cool. There's a lot of good mileage out of the stitches, visuals, and yeah, a lot of the very good drawings were Kane drawings, and I was fine with
Like
that.
if you like on the screen, the top left one where Kaneki is.
This one, yeah, I was gonna get into I loved that move coming back because that was the move he used on a big butcher boy, which was during the restaurant that Shizuya had taken him to. So that's funny that like it was the same move. Yeah, it was nice to see that come back, and that's a good signal of like, oh, it's Kane now because Heise doesn't know that move because Heise learned how to fight from
Arima.
From Arima, yeah, but Kaneki learned that move from a book, so it's funny. Yeah, he's like using literature against the monster made by the writer. It's like, whoa.
Very
Damn.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that scene. Just kicking her head off, and then it just reconnects because power-ups.
Yeah, I was expecting that to happen because like we kept seeing Noro regenerate, and Noro is very associated with
most insane regeneration.
but they have like the same mask, and it was like, oh, I bet they also had something weird done to them, maybe by Al. Probably not, but I was just thinking that while I was reading, and I was like, oh, I bet their head's gonna come back, and I was like, yep, there it is.
Like this whole section with Noro and Kanae being grouped together, like finally gave us, as the readers, some understanding to what the fuck is going on with Noro, because it's so strange in comparison to everyone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that spawned a lot of theories and understanding.
It was a great payoff to how he died though, with the with the Nutcracker turning into a big football, exploding him. That was.
I mean, that wasn't the finishing thing. Like
no, the finishing thing was the slice at the end. Yeah, where his mouth was like, "Eto, I'm going on ahead." Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, the talking Kagune mouths.
Yes, yeah. There's been a lot of like mouths and eyes on people's Kagunes in part two. Yeah, it's all very similar to that weird RC virus. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, we have.
And then Kane comes back, and he's like, his hair turns fully black, and he's like, yeah, Johnny's here. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But this was like, I think, the angriest that we've ever seen him.
Yeah, he was really. Yeah, that was a great panel when he's like, I was more thinking like, why the hell do I need to save a piece of trash like you?
Yeah.
Just like standing there, and he just throws an arm. Oh no, that's the other guy through the arm. Sorry. Yeah, but he's like, yeah, that I'm done dreaming page was really good too.
It'd be hilarious. It would be hilarious to think of all the other things that did not make him as angry as this.
Yeah.
You know, remember when you were tied to a chair and someone cut your toes off 5,000 times?
Yeah, he was more scared. Yeah.
Yeah, he got more angry about his comrades that he thought he was saving by being in that chair, not being released. That what made him angry. But,
I gotta say the gradual like black to white to black transition has been very well done and very enjoyable. I like that a lot.
In this one is like a little bit weird because I think the black on these pages is more supposed to be like from the blood, like it's not.
That would make more sense because, yeah, like there's no real logic. Like his black was like coming in, but it wasn't that black just moments earlier, and there is really nothing. There's no logic in like a changing personalities, changing your hair. So
I mean,
that makes sense. That makes sense as an explanation.
Like people called that version of him like red-haired Carnegie or bloodstained Carnegie, but it's not. It's only this one scene, so it never really caught on much.
I am gonna miss the high C hair if it never comes back, because it was so convenient to have someone with a hairstyle no one else did.
He looks a bit like Urie now, like in certain angles, like when his hair is all down and black and spiky and almost the same length. I'm like, oh.
I feel like Urie is either going to get a disfiguring injury or a haircut in the next couple.
Yeah, maybe he'll shave his hair to pay homage to his fallen bro.
I mean, Kanji looks a lot like Arima now.
Yeah, that's true too. But Arima has white hair now, even though he used to have black hair. Like everyone keeps changing, all their hairs just go from black to white like a fucking slider. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
What did you people think about like the little reveal about Carnegie's past?
How dare you say you people? You take that back.
Yeah, we're objectively not people. But
I was wondering about that because we've been talking all the time about how Ishida fucking like puts like loads of like thought and foreshadowing and pre-planning into stuff. Do you think he planned on that angle of his mom being abusive from the start? You think so? He did.
One of the most impressive foreshadowing things is in the end of Tokyo Ghoul, when we see the inner Kaneki escape, and he's talking with like his child version, and he asks him something like, "Do you like your mother?" And you see the smaller version of him put his hand to his chin and say that he does, so we know he lied.
Okay. Oh. God damn.
It's like another thing you can catch when you go back. So yeah, it was planned. Like that also explained why he was like so influenced and so
why he was like mommy figure was so like
because he just put all his he locked away all his bad memories he had of her.
It also made sense to me that she would be abusive because her whole thing was like taking loads of shit from everywhere, from like her sister and stuff, and always always seeming to like, oh, no matter what, she always was very positive, but actually it turns out she was taking out all her frustration and anger on Kaneki the whole time. God damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Well, fuck. Chapeau, as they say.
Yeah, and it gives us just a little bit more insight into Kaneki's mind, like that he's always been like
he was more fucked up than we realized. Yeah.
I mean, it explains why he rolled with becoming a ghoul relatively easily. It's just like being a human. I
don't think it was easy for him.
Yes, it wasn't easy, but he was more apt for it. Yeah, he was more. Let
me compare it to the average person.
Yeah, compared to like if his classmate had been turned into a ghoul. That would have been weird. Although it turned out he was like an uber genius. Yeah.
I think it more explains like his actions towards the end of Tokyo Ghoul, where he like basically goes in knowing that he will die because that's like part of his motivation. Like we get to know his motivation, his current motivation now that he says he wants to do something amazing and then die.
Yeah, he wants to die in an interesting way. Yeah.
Oh, this is rolling back. I just learned Red Spider Lilies of Morning actually is a TV trope page.
Huh.
So apparently it's common enough in anime that it has
That's
its
cool.
own page.
I need to look out for it more. I've definitely noticed it in other stuff. It's in Higurashi the whole time in the opening that spider lilies are like in the wind in front of that moonshot.
What that's wasn't it also in Takopi? I'm not sure.
I think they might have been. I think I might have remarked on that. Some other flower, definitely. Yeah. Fuck, I was gonna say something. Oh, I was gonna say, that speaking of him at the end of Tokyo Ghoul, that was very good when Tsukiyama had that moment where he was like, "Now I know how you felt."
Yeah.
When everyone was like suiciding for you and you couldn't leave like well enough alone. Yeah, like that was very nice. And Tsukiyama really is like one of the most likable characters at this point, honestly. Like I know he's like a horrible monster who's done things, but he's like a very compassionate, loving, intelligent guy. He's just also a crazy ghoul cannibal. But you know, like when he's like very satisfying to just like hear his internal monologue and like stuff he's gone through lately, where it's like, you know, cut him a break. I mean, everyone in the story is a fucking murderer anyway, both the doves and the ghouls. Like, fuck it, you know. Like Sasaki Heisei isn't all that nice. I mean, he's like, "Oh, I'm the good guy, Kaneki," but he just runs in and starts slicing ghouls to shreds as he runs up the building, and it's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got probably the final big peak, that amazing sequence of art and moments. I love that whole sequence. It lined up perfectly with a chorus swell, and I was all for it. I wish I could find normal versions that aren't these terrible recolors, but if you're like a manga page colorist, stop. Just stop. Like you do nothing of value, and you're wasting your time. That was an amazing like sequence of them like fighting each other, and then I was thinking just before it happened, I was thinking this is getting weirdly sexual because he's like, I want you inside of me, like within me or something, and she says, oh, so deep, and I was like, okay, this is definitely some fight sex innuendo going, and then immediately I turned the page and she's like licking his face and being like, I love you. And I was like, okay, they just had sex.
Also they do have a weirdly intimate connection indirectly, so it's
she's kind of naked anyway, and it's like, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And it was also interesting because when he swaps over, before that they had like a cool thing where Tsukiyama was being like, oh yeah, we really have nothing in common, like almost like a breakup thing, because we knew, and I was thinking from earlier, right, he asked him about his favorite author, and he was like, he didn't like Eto anymore, her, and then he switches over and it's like, oh, now he's fighting his favorite author after he remembered the phrase from the book. And then when he defeats her and he's like, I'm flattered. I was like, oh yeah, that must be flattering to him, because it's like, oh, my author I'm a huge fan of says that she's in love with me, you know? It's like Eto said, he calls her the other name,
Takatsuki.
Yeah, Takatsuki Sensei. Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah.
And then he's just eating the fucking corpse like a fucking berserk page. And Ui's like the worst character to come upon this, because he's the one guy who's like got like, I've got reservations about using fucking Heisei because he's a fucking ghoul. It just comes up on him eating.
And he just lost his partner. Like, I was wondering if you remember the scenes that like basically follow after that, when you see like lots of just what must have seemed to you like random names on the page.
Yes.
And that's a drinking game where.
You start with the last syllable, is it?
No. You pick the ring line in Tokyo. And you start at the station, and then the next person has to say the next station, and then when you fuck up, then you have to drink, and it starts over probably with and it costs more.
What a good
remembering
game.
What would we do without Jaws to explain everything to us? I just thought it was like kind of an artsy thing. I wasn't really paying attention. I just thought they just sounded like people's names, so I thought it was like fallen comrades or like Dove members or something. I was just more, I liked it visually. I was just like, oh yes, like kind of like information noise sort of thing, you know, text used as like an art texture. I wasn't really paying that much attention to it.
It's both probably like to what's the word, to distract himself, but it also implies that he played that game with Hyrule.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of like people sort of like going into childish modes when like moments of high stress or violence are happening, kind of.
Yeah, like he even like remarks basically that he's not in control of himself. Like he hears his own voice say things that he isn't even consciously thinking about and stuff like that.
Yeah, he likes giving lots of symbolism to
Like, it's a
like I don't know,
cool
like
little
Tsukiyama's
philosophy.
flashback had like Scrabble and like Pinky Promises and stuff. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's the kind of stuff that flashes before your eyes when you're in a weird situation. Probably it's like the old
Yep.
memories from when you were a kid. Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was a cool moment when he dropped the guy off the roof. I was happy because I was like, okay, I think Kane likes Tsukiyama, like he because his inside version was like, don't kill him. So I was like, okay, well that makes sense. And then I was like, oh no, maybe he is gonna kill him just to save face. I mean, he is kind of ruthless. But then I was like, aha, he threw him off the roof. That's a clever way of still having plausible deniability that you were
Yeah.
trying to kill it, because earlier we had someone say, oh, even from this height, if a ghoul fell, he'd fucking die, and they do. But yeah, he kind of expected Kane to jump after, and
Yeah, there's
and
this nice little panel where he just gives her a
yes,
glance, like expecting.
just like I
her
was
to
just thinking of that
land.
alien best of the worst did a movie called Alienator, where a guy suicides himself by jumping down a volcano and turning into a puppet, and they call it the ultimate friend zone maneuver, and that's what I was thinking. That was Kane's ultimate friend zone maneuver, where she jumped and suicided herself. But you know, I mean, I'm not really sad to see him go, but it's cool. See you.
And then
And
Tsukiyama gets saved by
yeah,
Toka
the
and
gang showed up. For a second, I thought it was
Berto.
no, what's her face in the van? I thought it was Hinami for a second, but it was
Hinami.
yeah, because they look
Oh.
very
I
similar.
did
And
I did the
was,
same thing.
yeah, and I was like, oh, it's all the gang, and it's like, oh yeah, it's Tsukiyama's other like small, short-haired friend that he has, but not from the same place. This is the human one. The other one's still in Cochlea. So I was like, I thought they'd broken her out from Cochlea because like it was such like a it was such like a night of chaos and madness. It might have well have happened somehow, but no. Okay, I was like, okay, yeah, yeah. I'm happy Nishiki wasn't there. I'm happy it was Yomu instead, or whatever his name is, because I was like that would be kind of. I think Nishiki still holds more of a grudge probably because he
Yeah.
did try and like kill his girlfriend. Toka, I know they fought,
Water under
but
the bridge.
yeah, I guess everything. When you're ghouls, you probably can't keep too much of a grudge about like murder and stuff because that's kind of what they do. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I'm happy my favorite guy isn't dead, or one of my favorite guys. Urie did some cool stuff too. I was really happy to see. I liked like how he started doing one thing where like his emotions got kind of out of whack, and he started saying the rude thing in parentheses and the like the or like he was saying like what the normal thing he would say in parentheses, and like the shouting like you retard actually out loud because he was like stressed.
Oh no.
And then we had a nice emotional moment with him and
Shirazu.
Shirazu suiciding.
Yeah,
That was cool.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that moment
Well,
yet.
yeah, I was very surprised because he really did it in a way where he really convinced me he might just actually be dead, and I was like, damn, I didn't expect one of the Quinks to die. That's, you know, damn, I don't know what to expect. But then by the end, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're not fooling me, because he got these corpses with Dr. Kano now, and you know, we're definitely gonna see him show up again. He's probably going to be buddies with the fake owl, hanging out, drinking. Yeah.
As long as Rize doesn't come back, I'm
As
fine
long
with
as
it.
Riza doesn't come back. But yeah, that was a well sold moment. I mean, you mentioned earlier that Urie has like a thing with his mouth, and that panel of him screaming was like all mouth. He went from like no mouth to the biggest mouth. Yeah, it was nice to see everyone like crying and sad, because like early on you get kind of an idea that the Quinks are just like kind of, you know, reluctant roommates, and they're all kind of like assholes to each other, and it seemed more like they were kind of like not that much friends, but Sasaki was trying to like wrangle them together. But then, you know, they've been through some stuff, and now it did feel nice to see just how much they do just care for each other. bushy eyebrows guy was there kind of awkwardly being like to the side being like dang. I mean he was sad. Yeah, but yeah, he had a cool moment where he rescued Psycho too. Yeah, and they had a cool. And then the poor Urie just got like the shit kicked out of him afterwards. The one time he's like nice, and he's like he first he's like, don't you even care? And the investigator comes in and is like, you had promised, but oh well, looks like you suck. And then Kane comes in and is like, lol, fuck you.
And it's like a cool scene because we see him go back to like Jason's philosophy.
Interesting that he does actually like get down and coddle the corpse, because I was half expecting him to just be like kind of like not giving a shit because he's not the same person. But it's interesting because this Kane also has like the high. Sorry, yeah, this kind of key. Say, okay, so there's 50 fucking names and they're all start with the same 3 letters. Yeah. Give me a break. This kind of key has Heisei's memories, right?
Yes.
Like so he's more like he's kind of like a weird Kaneki that's been brought up to date with the thing, so he probably did care somewhat for the
he definitely cared
for the guys. But it's interesting now because he asked to be removed from the squad willingly, so I think he kind of feels awkward. Like it would have been weird for them to like hang out with him, and he just clearly has a different personality. Like he's much like colder and distant, and like has different tastes. It would have been weird. So yeah, it's interesting how much he's willing to like shake up the status quo. Like we're just 58 chapters in, and now it's like he's a fucking weird Arima knockoff, and now the Quinn squad is headed by Urie, and it looks like they might. I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be more Quinks or what. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah. Well, shit. What is there? Anything else to mention?
No, just cool scenes.
We've been on Ghoul for a while, so we should probably.
Closingly, I just want to say I really did love like this part. Like this was some of the best manga I've read. Maybe ever. Yeah. So that was great. But man, fucking Kurosawa is good. What? Huh?
Wait, you're actually into this part?
I am so into this part.
Okay. I was actually worried because
So was I.
well, because you seemed a little concerned, and then I looked at this stretch and I found myself thinking I really underestimated how long this fight scene goes on. I was worried that you were going to get bored or think it was taking way too long to get through it. But
I was like laughing out loud and like smiling during many stretches of this. I don't know. I don't want to say like the manga got better really. I think just something clicked in my brain probably, and I was like, yes, okay, I get it. Or maybe it's just this specific like. It's just the specific.
It's a manga.
Maybe it's just that I was happy to finally see like my guy like get some.
Yeah, it's surprising that he actually wins this.
Yeah, exactly. I kept expecting
he does
some
pretty
like.
Well.
I still expect this to be curtailed a bit by like, but be undercut somehow by like him now being like depressed about how he won or becoming like sort of an asshole, and then people like get annoyed at him, and then he realizes no, I thought this would like solve my problems, but now I've just become like a kind of a full of himself bully or something, because he's but we'll get to that at the end of it. So yeah, okay, opens up amazingly with the greatest scene. I was just loving like the whole situation was just so funny. Or like the guy gets up from behind him and he's like, "You fucking assholes! Don't you understand? This man is the greatest man in history, and he's about to hit a chestnut tree, and you guys are sitting there, just waffling and twiddling your dicks when this man is gonna go fight for his life." And then people are like, "Dude, stop shouting!" And he's like, "Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!" to everyone in the fucking restaurant. And then he just like gets them on board, and they they start coming over to his side and clapping their asses off. And just everyone's really into it. It's so fucking funny. And then Kurosawa's like embarrassed. He's like, I didn't really mean to make a big deal out of this. Jeez. Like he's like really awkward about it. He's like being like, yeah, whatever, man. And the guy's like calling him sir, and being like, yeah, man, you're gonna go fight him, right? He's like, yeah, sure. He's like,
let's slow down a little bit, just to remind everyone.
Yeah.
He is plotting vengeance against a 14-year-old.
Well, that was what was hilarious. When he mentioned, when they asked what the location was, I thought that was going to be like the moment where he was going to mention in front of middle school. And they're like, I thought everyone's going to be like, middle school? Hold on. You're going to go fight middle schoolers? I thought you're going to have a big adult fight. But no, not only do they not give a shit, they literally go in front of the middle school and no one questions it. No one. Everyone is there with big smiles on their face, being like, I thought they were going to be like, oh man, he really is going to fight middle schoolers. I thought it just might be a location thing, but he's about to beat up middle schoolers. And they're like hoping he just fights one-on-one with it. It's like all of them accepted, oh yeah, middle schoolers are assholes. Like if you have to beat them up, definitely do it. You fucking hero. Women are there like cheering. Yeah. Like, yeah, he's going to beat up those 14-year-olds. Yeah.
This is maybe the only work of fiction I've ever seen that is so upfront about, teenagers deserve violence. They're almost always horrible fucking shit.
Yeah. This comic just gives no shit about like sexualizing middle schoolers, or not sexualizing in the comic itself. I mean, having characters sexualize middle schoolers, having characters be cool with beating the shit out of middle schoolers. Like it just is so matter of fact about it. It's just like,
speaking of which, evil fucking Turbo Ho comes back in this one.
Yeah, it's just like all the Japanese men in these rooms, they just like get on the same brain wavelength. They're just like, well, obviously we've all thought about fucking middle schoolers and beating the shit out of them, like every day, all the time. Like we don't need to say this. We all know this to be true. Like we just.
I'm just admitting it. That's what that's what they say.
That was such an amazing moment too in the first chapter of the stretch where the guy's like, "Oh God, these people are being sad. See, son, that's what happens if you drop out of school. You become like them." Shocked face, and the dad is like, "Am I getting through to him? Am I getting?" And then he's like, "Oh, can I go see the fight?" And they're like, "What?" And then he's like, "If I go see the fight, maybe I'll want to go to school." The guy's like really on board. He's like, "I'll make you food," and people are like, "We'll film it, and I'll make the fucking thing." And the women are like, "Can we come?"
Yeah, he's like, a whole community is building around Kurosawa's quest to beat up a teenager.
And I thought the whole thing was just gonna be, this is gonna be. Kurosawa loves doing this thing where it's like every time it thinks it gives him a win, then he chickens out, and everyone hates him, and it's a big embarrassing moment. And this is why I hate Kurosawa with every fiber of my fucking being. This manga just makes me feel bad. But no, they go through with it. He fucking goes through with the fight, even if he has to puke and cry and have snot running down his nose the whole time.
And just to slow down slightly, is like, they go through this whole thing where there's a preparatory process. They literally treat him like a samurai or a prize fighter.
Yeah,
they give him a bunch of tribute. They make him these amazing snacks. They help him prepare. There's a whole scene of him like being naked in his room. Yeah, like preparing himself like a samurai, I guess.
Yeah, he like bathes before battle, which is like a Spartan thing. Weird little thing, but one of the most famous like images I've always seen of Kurosawa is him when he's like in samurai armor, but it's like full of nails, and he's holding like a baseball bat. And when I saw him go to the sword, I was worried. I thought that was what was going to happen. Like he was going to go to Home Depot and deck himself out in fucking nails to fight a bunch of middle schools. And I was like, oh no, he's going to come out in that gear, and everyone's going to be like horrified and disappointed. But no, he just like got a tracksuit and was like, okay, I'm ready to throw down.
Yeah, and the crazy thing, once they start for the fight, and he just waits outside the front of the middle school. He doesn't even.
Then that was so fucking.
I can't wait for the cops to show up. I can't wait for the cops to show up and say, "Isn't that the guy from 2 weeks ago when we found him?"
I was like, is a teacher gonna be like, "Why are you fighting? Why is a grown man beating up teenagers in front of my school?" But like. That was fucking hilarious. Like the layout of it turned into kaiju with like the like diagrams of like explaining like the logic and strategies and locations, and everyone is just comically like on a bunch of like in a viewing gallery across the street. Just like 40 people are there, just like women and people cheering, and there's a guy like giving commentary, being like, "Ah man."
the businessman just comparing everything to like ships, like battleships.
I was like saying, yeah,
yeah.
the battleships. I was like saying out loud to myself, like, what the hell is going on, or what the fuck is this to myself? Like, he's just insane. Like Fukumoto is just
the author or the character.
No, Fukumoto is just like a madman. Like his brain, it should be donated to science. Like as soon as he dies.
And the crazy thing about the fight, like they make no attempt to actually set it up. So they're looking at him thinking, there's 3 teenagers. Can a grown man beat up 3 teenagers if he has the element of surprise?
Let's think this through. And the baseball bat in the thing, but he doesn't know that they're coming. But he's looked. Okay, now he can get the jump. They're like the leopard. The leopard is crouching.
and he hesitates because he independently has the realization.
That's so funny.
I could if I strike one, I might knock them out quick and then move on to the other 2.
Well,
he hesitates. Where it's the thing with Kurosawa, where he keeps alternating between being a coward and being a badass.
Yeah.
He just kind of crouches down and goes, "Maybe this is a bad idea," and it is. It's a horrible, horrible idea that he's doing this. But he decides to fight the moment after he could have had an advantage from doing it.
Yes, I realized exactly why you like this manga. I was like, I understand.
Okay.
I understand
Why?
now. It's because Fukumoto seems to have like perfect knowledge of the human psyche, and specifically he understands exactly how much a neurotic person they spend like thinking inside of their head, like out loud, like the way he like literally like when there's sentences and stuff of his thought bubbles, that's literally like he is taking that time in real time. Like he's talking to himself inside of his head non-stop. Like he's always just like closing his eyes and like scratching his head and be like, no, like strategizing, fantasizing, thinking about the different outcomes, and like waffling all the time. Like he's like the most realistic depiction of like an insecure person, maybe since like Watsumoto or something. Like it's very. Yeah, or Pun. It's just very well. Pun we don't see inside of his head that much. Like
what?
No, we don't. We don't. Like seriously, think about how much of the manga is like the black panels of him thinking something, and a lot of that time that's God. Like a lot of time you see him of like an external perspective almost, and it also goes like third person to a lot of characters. Like this one, you're entirely inside of his head. Like for almost every panel, it's like him thinking something. I don't know. Like
yeah.
It just,
I will say you're onto something with that.
Okay,
I think there's more to it than that. But
I'm not phrasing it perfectly, but I was like, this is definitely part of it. Is like how realistically he has just like conveyed the thought process of like a neurotic person. And I love that moment where he's like he's nervous, shitting himself, and then he like tries to hide, and then they recognize him, and he just like pretends it's not him, and then he's like, huh, what? It's like the most. It's just like very it's very real, because like in life everything goes wrong all the fucking time, and then nothing is ever cool like you want it to be, and everything always fucks up, and people like trip over and stumble, and it's always like lame, but somehow it still works out in the end, which is funny. Like that's what tipped it for me, is like that it actually works out. Like if it had just been him like waffling, and then he gets the shit kicked out of him again, and then everyone is like disappointed in him and just leaves, I was just like, god damn it, this is why I hate Kurosawa. Like it just makes me feel bad. It's just a manga intent on making me feel bad. But no, it turns out he was setting up the whole time for actually some fucking cool payoff, and he just, that panel where he fucking pushes that punk's face in and all his teeth fly out, I was like, yes, beat up teenagers, go kill these children. I was like, yes, do it. Yeah, that was great.
If you will it, then yes.
I was just happy that he was like willing to just be realistic with me on both fronts. Yes, realistically, sometimes people get the shit kicked out of them by teenagers, but realistically also, sometimes big construction guys just punch the shit out of like a snotty teenager who's being an asshole. Like that also happens.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because they almost frame it as a realization where Kurosawa keeps forgetting how strong he is.
Yes.
There's actually a part where it's like a shonen fight, or it's even like a kaiji battle of, slowly puzzling through things and figuring it out. But instead of him figuring out the esoteric rules to some really complicated game. He just realizes, hey, if I take my hand and I push it forward, it knocks the other guy back. And if I take each finger and curl them into my palm,
Well,
that I could hit them with that, and that would hurt so much more.
that's what was amazing about it was that was like a title drop for me, because I was like, oh, I thought, and it might still be this, it might be both things, I'm not discounting it, but the whole time I was like, okay, strongest man Kurosawa, right? It's like, oh, I get it. It's like he's like the strongest because he endures so much, you know, like, oh, he's like this mountain of a man who goes through all this suffering and still keeps his heart, you know, like, oh, he's so strong. But then that sequence I was like, oh, wait, he literally is like the strongest man. Like, he is a very strong man. And he's realizing, he's like, did I do that? Oh shit, I really am, like, I've worked construction and I'm a fucking huge lumbering man and I pick up heavy stuff all the time. I could totally just like snap this guy in half if I wanted to. And he just learns how to fight and he's like, this is fun.
Like,
and I was like, yeah, it is fun.
Weirdly talented. Like a normal person would not have been able to just block like the punches from
he's got good reflexes, which is not really explained by working construction. Yeah,
he's just like talented at it to get away
it kind
with
of recontextualizes him doing the thing where he tried to catch the baseball bat, because he was kind of close, and maybe he would have been that was like kind of the awakening of like his physical abilities. He kind of instinctively takes up like a boxing pose, like I forget what that's called, with like one fist high and one fist low, like that. Like that's a standard like boxing sort of thing where you guard with one hand and you have your right out for jabs. And he does that like just at the beginning of the fight, and they're like, oh shit, that was a really cool drawing. Yeah. Also, the artwork, like, I feel like I don't know if it got better, but like, I feel like there was stronger.
I think it's just more dynamic. If nothing
more
else.
dynamic,
like they're having more fun with it.
Yeah, there was less awkward drawings, and there was more cool like visualizations. Like, yeah, there was all the stuff like the battlefields.
And let's hit the brakes a bit. I think Jaw's been trying to roll in for a while.
Sorry.
Yeah, on some small things. On the artwork thing, I'm wondering what your opinion was on that one page that was actually a really well drawn samurai fight.
Be more specific. Oh, when they're crossing the blades.
The samurai fight looked a bit awkward.
I mean, like,
to me, honestly, that wasn't one of my favorite artworks. Compositionally, it looked fine, but I don't like his like shading when he draws like realistic humans like that. I think he's honestly, I don't know if he has assistants or not, but the thing he's best at is drawing animals. Like, the cheetah page looked really nice, actually. The leopard, whatever. But the
it was a cheetah.
It was a cheetah. Okay, I said the wrong one earlier then. Fucking my favorite like artwork stretch was when he's like drifting out of consciousness or almost, and he's like, I'm in space, and he's like, my mind is going fuzzy, and like he's flying through space. Like those pages looked really nice, and the actual drawings of him looked really nice. Like I like the thick outlines on them. I kind of started imagining him more as like a Popeye-ish kind of cartoon, and that made him more look like, I don't know, I liked him more after that. Like imagining him like as a funny cartoon man rather than a manga character. I don't know why.
I will say, Jaws, that samurai where he's imagining an actual samurai fight. That's perfectly. Yeah, I think that's perfectly good.
I think it looks cool. I didn't think it looked bad at all. Listen, I just think it's not one of my favorites. I think it looked cool. I had made the samurai connection a bit earlier. As soon as he picked up the pipe, I was like, oh, they both have swords now, you know.
Even in Kaiji, when Fukumoto does the weird dream sequence fantasy thing, it always struck me as a little hokey. I think they're fine, but I'm also glad they're only usually one panel, because it could drag if it went for too long.
This one wasn't super like fanciful. Yeah, like you said.
I have it. It's in chapter 33 if you're looking for the samurai fight.
It's chapter 33.
I don't know if you are.
Let me go and see if I can.
And just to progress a little, what did you think of the conceit where he blunders in and cowers and then fights and eventually beats off not beats off the teenagers, defeats the teenagers to the point where he can comfortably walk away with his head high at least. And then one of the bystanders go, wait, is this, I don't know, Yokohama Middle School? Because you know who's there, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, that's the home of the world's strongest middle schooler.
Yeah, that was very like Dr. Stone.
Is it Nakama? What's his name again?
Nakama.
Nakane.
Yeah.
Nakane. Yeah, that was funny, and it was very comical too.
Tall,
Yeah, he stands up on the wall.
Over the wall.
Yeah.
And he has a giant hook nose, and he looks like he's 25.
And he's got like big, like puffy lips. Yeah, like
his lips kind of look like an anus a little bit.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's just been eating like lots of spicy food. He's got like very red, swollen lips. Yeah, he just stands.
And he's not involved in this at all. He's just always down for a fight. So he notices, oh, a new challenger has arrived.
Yeah,
I will destroy them. And it rapidly escalates into a much higher stakes conflict.
Yeah.
Where they fight for a bit, and then the evil teenage girl comes back and throws another baseball bat into the situation.
Yeah, she's like leaves it like, tell me what happened later, and they will. They'll tell him to piss their fucking pants. Can't wait for the chapter where he fucks that teenager.
Honest to God, that teenage girl, she's rapidly losing all credibility. Like, he could take the bat to her, and I would not hold it against him. She's almost killed him twice.
Yeah, I know. She's a bitch. Yeah, it's I love the rolling. Yeah, like the rolling commentary. The crowd like follows them into the woods, and they're like crouched behind these bushes, being like, "Oh man, he's doing pretty good." Yeah. And then his first moves were like sumo pushes, but then he starts punching, and he punches the guy's fist mid punch, and that looked really fucking painful.
And we get to the point where he's about to have his head smashed with a bat again.
Again.
Oh hey, Fap note, look at that. They share the name Kurosawa. But he reaches over, grabs a pipe, and then he has he's a construction worker, so he's familiar with pipe and its properties.
But he's at a disadvantage because it's so heavy. Damn.
Yeah, and they cross blades, and I like how the fight just kind of trails off.
Yeah.
Where the teenager realizes, you know what? This really isn't worth it. No one needs to die over this. It was fun to fight for a second.
Just had hit like that would have done so much damage.
Oh god, yeah. I like that a lot because I don't know if the teenager was ever gonna show up again, but I was kind of like coming around to him. I was like, this guy's pretty cool. Like, he's like a stupid fight teenager, but that sequence where they went inside of his head and he was like talking about his kind of philosophy and why he's like a disaffected youth. That was like very interesting. I like that a lot. I was like, oh, I see. We get
it's totally fair because from his perspective, a middle-aged man did just show up and attack some of his classmates for no reason. Like, it's not that weird for him to decide to join the fight. Like, he didn't do anything wrong, really.
He would have been he's probably been in lots of fights where it was much less of like a reasonable fight. Like, he was just like fighting someone who just like had nothing to do with anything and just like corralling someone into a fight almost. But in this one, he has pretty good justification to just be, and he's not like a prick about it. Like when he just wants to have like a kind of a rough fist fight, right? Like, he doesn't want to just like murder a guy initially. Then he gets really angry. But initially when he throws that hook and he hits Kurosawa in the stomach and Kurosawa's on the floor. Like, if he was an asshole like those other ones, he would just run up and like kick them in the head and throw him on the floor and just started kicking him, and they've all would have jumped on him and murdered him, right? But he waits for him to get back up. He's like, oh no, I want to have like a real proper fight. He's like really, he enjoys fighting itself. He's like, I'm having fun. Yeah.
Cool. No real spoilers, but this character does hang around for a bit, and he's actually pretty likable.
I thought he might because I saw him on
the
cover. I was like, okay, he seems like he's got more going on to him than like the other guys' designs. I was like, he seems like a character. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when the fight is ending, the teenager throws down the bat and says, I'm out, we had a good fight, but this is getting a little too intense.
Yeah.
And other people are saying, no, you gotta kill him. And he just says, you fucking do it then.
Yeah.
And everyone else cowers away.
Yeah.
And then one of Kurosawa's buddies runs up to celebrate the moment.
Oh,
and Kurosawa's so hyped up, he spins around and hits him with the pipe.
Yeah, and he bleeds out the side of his head like a geyser. Yeah.
And Kurosawa has to play it off later. Like,
yeah, that was really awkward. Yeah, the guy's like, that's why I was like, I wonder if this is like the beginning of like asshole Kurosawa arc, because he's making the funniest fucking face when he's drinking beer. And he's like, ha ha ha, and having a great party, all these women. And then you see the guy with a bandaged head is the only one who's not smiling. He's like, oh come on. It's one of my classic hit you in the head with a steel pipe jokes, Fucking, I do this all the time. It's my patented iconic move. So yeah, that was a bit silly. Before that,
Kurosawa
that was awesome
says it
too.
was a joke.
Well, Kurosawa, just like by the end of that fight, he's so tired and like he's gone through so much that he's like just like dripping snots and sweat and tears, and he's got one eye looking either way, and he looks like he reminded me in Writing Bean when he gets shot in the head in his bulletproof headband and he just becomes like a brain dead retard for a bit and he just has like retard strength and he swings around. I was like, oh damn, he's become like the strongest creature, a brain dead moron with a bat. And then like he's staring at all the other teenagers and they're all running away from him like because he's got so much aura, so much scary aura. They're just all just piss their pants and leave.
Yeah, it's he is so lucky nobody saw this.
Yeah.
Other than the 50 people he brought with who brought film.
Yeah, and the women who were cheering and being like, "Yay!"
It's like it's oh god, wait, who's the fucking
What do you think?
who's the really big Dick Masterson. It's like Dick Masterson with bum fights.
Oh.
You know, he just pretends it's fake.
Just like I wonder what those women told their other girlfriends at the office when they go to work. Like, what did you do in the weekend? Oh, I went to the nail salon. Oh, I went to a restaurant. Oh, I followed around this middle-aged man who was like fighting middle schoolers, and we like squatted in the bushes and filmed it, and then we went out drinking. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then of course in the last few pages, Kurosawa is just, again, he's holding court. Everyone is fawning over how cool he is, and he's just reveling in how he's the biggest badass of all time because he defeated the strongest middle schooler.
He's like this big laughing Buddha in the middle of this fucking party. Yeah, and I was like, I sumo pushed two guys in the face.
Yeah, his little retard sidekick is talking about working the video store, saying you can look at all the porn you want. Yay!
Yeah, that was the funniest page turn where the guy's like, you can look at all the porn, and then page turn he's strangling him on the floor, and they're like, Kurosawa, that's enough. And he's like, I'll kill this fucking moron if it's the last thing I do. And yeah, and then he sees the guy who actually works at the video store like laughing and talking to girls, and he's like, damn, I don't have a woman yet, but that's the next step. That's where the chapter ends. And
people didn't bite last time, but I'll call attention. You know, every time he gets anything, he's immediately thinking about how cool the next thing's going to be.
Yeah. I wonder why he doesn't have anything. Yeah,
like his situation right now is so cartoonishly good compared to what it was a few weeks ago. That like this is in his wildest fantasies just a month ago, he never would have imagined he'd be laughing it up while everyone fawns over him and gives him all this attention and says he's the best. And of course he's when he's finally getting to celebrate, he's like glancing over the table like, what's the next even awesomer thing I'm going to get? I wonder.
Yeah, and he No, I was gonna say, oh fuck, no, I just lost it.
While you're re-rolling, Jaws, you've been quiet for a bit. Jaws, shut up.
No, Jaws,
put your fist in your mouth. Sit down.
Because I have something important to say. It's funny that he equates interrupting the guy's attack to a traffic thing because he did have to work like traffic, like light jobs recently. So I just thought that was funny. Okay, now you say
the funniest thing to me was in the restaurant scene in the beginning when he refuses the beer, even though he's drunk like 8 beer already, and then later he drinks even more.
Yeah, and then immediately afterwards they'll wake up on the floor hangover, like, oh yeah, Kurosawa refused it first, but then he just kept chugging beer after beer. I'm so glad at least he can like handle his alcohol somewhat, because I keep expecting him to embarrass himself, just puke in the middle of the fucking table, or piss himself, or do so, or just fall over with his face in the plate. So at least he just becomes very red faced and laughs, and he's very stupid. But he's just like regular, very drunk. He's not like embarrass myself and wake up in the middle of the road.
And the other thing we forgot to mention, Kurosawa admits that he only initially said that he was going to fight in the hopes that they would talk him down.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
I got that idea kind of. Yeah, he was like, oh man, I was hoping this would go differently, and then he does his like most to try and wriggle his way out of the fight. He probably wouldn't even have gone. when he's like sitting at the park bench if they hadn't happened to run into the guys, which is funny too because then he comes back and he gives them shit and he's trying to be all stoic like, oh yeah, I understand if you thought I had run away, and they're like feeling bad like, I'm so sorry I doubted you, and he's like, he actually was gonna run away but he just didn't happen to. And he's like, it's everyone just like lying to each other and he just can't break face at any point or else the whole thing would come tumbling down, but he manages to like walk this fucking this like trap wire till the very end somehow. I can't wait for it to all come tumbling down next stretch, but
it's good. We'll see, man. It's amazing that it's really lucky for him that he's so hard to read, because if people could tell what he was thinking, they think he's an idiot.
People don't know what to make out of this like brain dead, sweaty, crying, sniffling, like weird giant man in front of them. They're like, is he super strong and acting retarded? Is he like scared? Is he fucking with us? Like, what is up?
Honestly, in a weird way, I almost feel like, some of those old samurai type people, like, I don't know, Oda Nobunaga or whatever, I'm sure Jaws will know. I feel like some of them were kind of like, oh, whatever. I feel like some of them, I feel like some of them were like this. They were probably like goofy, strange people that, were always were some
strange in comparison.
Miyamoto Musashi was like a weirdo.
Yeah.
I mean, he shows up with like a fucking oar for his big duel and then like runs around the beach and then kills a guy.
I feel like a lot of the old swordsman warrior types, they were just goofy fucking guys.
Probably.
Where they were like geniuses and retards and cowards and really brave, and they were just kind of all over the place. Like, I feel like this was real. This feels like a real person that used to exist.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy says I'm never going to remember his name, but the Viper man, tallest middle schooler. He says like, I didn't believe there were still adults like this left in the world. That was like a really good line. I was like, that's cool.
He's inspiring the new generation as he punches them in the face.
You need to, when you're older, you can kick the shit out of middle schoolers. Teach them a fucking lesson.
He is such a boomer. And a minor point, when they punch and they hit their hands and one guy kind of rolls his wrist, you can tell Fukumoto knows a little bit about boxing or something, because he just thinks of little things like that unless you'd looked into it, you wouldn't think of.
Yeah, that was an interesting detail. Also, he seems to know about battleships because he knows specific models to compare.
But I've almost forgot this, but the scene where Kurosawa basically like figures out how to fight like reminded me quite a bit of one of my other favorite manga, Holy Land. Which is by the guy who's continuing Berserk.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I already have very complicated feelings about this. Are we reading this after Tokyo Ghoul, perhaps?
It's too similar to it to be.
Thought we were going to do Land of the Lustrous.
Maybe.
Oh my god.
The very next one is going to be the Hisoka one shot, but that's just one.
Right.
That's cool.
Well, 60 pages.
Imagine having not read that.
Imagine not having read Dark Continent. That's what I would be embarrassed about. I mean, who cares about ancillary material?
Imagine letting yourself get sucked in the Dark Continent every 3 years and reading and forgetting what you read and just doing that forever.
Damn you.
What's better, reading Dark Continent 1 time partially or 10 times partially?
10 times partially.
Whatever, dude.
Well, any final thoughts about Kurosawa?
He's the strongest man.
Keep it up.
He is.
This is good. Keep being good.
I wonder if you're gonna like
the manga.
I wonder if you're gonna like where it goes from this. Honestly, I have no idea how you're gonna respond.
I have no idea. I don't know where the fuck it's gonna go. You're gonna start I can imagine because here's my prediction. Because Fukumoto likes like crime stuff. Like he can't help himself. Even a Kaiji is obviously all about that. Fucking Akagi, you think it's about mahjong? Spoilers, it's about the Yakuza. Someone's gonna like recognize his retard strength, or he's gonna start taking advantage of it, or maybe he's gonna start looking for fights for fun. One of those is gonna happen. But either way, it's gonna like escalate where he's like facing stronger and stronger opponents, where he's gonna go from like middle schooler to high schoolers to like actual like gangsters and yakuzas and whatnot, and he's gonna get embroiled in, I don't know, it's gonna be like fuck, it could be anything from like cage fighting to just like protecting like people who are getting extorted by yakuza, and he's going to be like, no, I will stand up for you, and he's going to become like slightly more powerful, but every time almost die probably, and then get way over his head and mess up somehow. That's what I think is going to happen. And he's going to become more and more of a samurai. This is the path of a samurai, is to keep fighting stronger and stronger opponents until you die. Like, that's what samurai do. Yeah. And you can pledge to protect the peasants.
Right, you mean slaughter them in the streets.
And at some point, he might bang someone. I don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah, slaughter teenagers in the streets. Do it.
And my final thought, in Gantz, something bizarrely similar happens, where Gantz has this super strong, muscular martial arts character. A guy, he has like 5 times as much muscle as the next most muscular character.
Shachi.
And the way they introduce him is he shows up in town, with a little duffel bag, and he just goes to the nearest high school and just kind of shouts, "Bring out your strongest high schooler!" And it's just so similar. I wonder if there's a connection. I don't know if there is, because who does that? That's such a weirdly specific thing to do,
Netero does that too. I think it's probably a thing. I've seen that a lot in like stuff focused on martial arts.
I think, it's probably like the dojo.
Yeah, exactly. Like the idea of like going to the dojo doors, standing there, going, "Who is the strongest person here?" Like Musashi does that supposedly, like in Legends and in the manga Vagabond. Like
that
you
used to be a real thing.
Yeah, like you travel around, you ask around town, who are the big badasses around here? Like, oh, you probably want the something dojo, so you go to the dojo, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to fight just some rando, I want to fight the top of the class, and then usually they'll like try to fight the sensei. Then the best student like shows up and like, no, sensei, don't embarrass yourself by fighting this guy, I'll show him. And then one of the two outcomes happens. So I think that's just like a thing in Japan, which is cool.
Yeah, they used to just do that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, when you're bored and you're eating rice, you're like, fuck it.
Well, we're taking a bizarrely long time this time. We better do Nausicaä.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not
spending almost an hour per.
We're not as tightly scheduled as we were the last few times, and we're happy. And this time fair. I like Kurosawa, so I don't want to get past it quickly.
Oh my god!
But you know what else I like is Nausicaä, the Valley of the Wind.
Yeah, it just continues to be perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed this stretch more again than
you did. I'm glad. I was worried the initial thing might be wearing off more and more, and you might be more and more like, I still like it, but less and less. But that's good. Yeah, we get right off the bat. We just fucking essentially get our new head honcho villain. His name is Naru. Yeah, it's like Naru Peth or Naru Paleth or something like that. It's very weird. Neuralopeth or something. Yeah, I said once, the Emperor essentially. Yeah, he fucking just takes the first chance he has to just murders Miralupa, just fucking poisons his tank. And he's a madman. He's kind of a Chaz, to be honest. Like he's pretty cool. Yeah, he just shows up. His introduction is great. He just shows up. He's like, fuck the fucking priest. Shut the fuck up. Like, they're all like, are you intent on just breaking every fucking, any, like, just taboo, that we have? Yeah. Like, you're using miasma, you're using fucking bugs, you're using all the evil stuff we're not meant to. And he's like, shut up. Goes down, sees the fucking God Warrior. I was unclear. I'm not, I'm not sure if this is no, it can't be a flashback. So there are just two God Warriors already in play. Because I was like, it's not the same God Warrior that's on the plane.
Yeah, they're growing this one. The other one they dug up, right?
Yeah, but because it was like a box and they said they were missing something, I thought it might have been the same black box that Asbel had stolen the egg from. But no, I guess it's just another one that was missing its egg. It just got removed from someone probably not wanting the God Warriors to wake up. Yeah, they're growing this one. He's like, splendid, cool, awesome. Then goes up and he's like, bring me my super strong immortal ape man.
Cactus people.
Yeah, oh, it's like Hydra.
Hydra
Yeah.
or Hydra.
I think
however they're-
I read it as Hydra. I assume it might be something to do with the actual Hydra because the Hydra was also immortal unless you killed it in a specific way. So maybe that's the reference.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just an ancillary thing. They don't really look anything like a Hydra. Obviously, they're like these weird like pickle men. And yeah, it's like bring me that one, and that one, and then he just storms out of the palace with like this fucking conclave of 12 guys, and he's like, the Emperor himself is riding into battle. I'm like, cool. And then yeah, we cut to like the Mito and Yupa and stuff, right? Like
Yeah, just
they've kind of just gotten together. We're just seeing the horror of like the war has transitioned into its second horrible half, where now the war is more about trying to clean up the horrors of the first half. Like there's just like there's just like horrible damage has been done to the entire landscape. There's out of control fungi and bugs and murder everywhere. Sides don't even. It's not really about fighting armies against armies now. It's about taking slaves and scorching the fucking landscape and destroying crops and just leaving no one alive or unenslaved. And yeah, we're just trying to. Everyone's just like trying to survive in this horrible fucking environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they come across Kushana and her few survivors.
Yeah, Kushana. I love Kushana, and
she's the highlight of this section for me.
Oh yeah, I love her as a character, but I love her and is it Tokugawa's?
What? No, Tokugawa was a shogun. Kurosawa.
Kurosawa. I keep switching the vowels or the syllables around. Kurosawa. Yeah, Kurosawa is like. I just love their dynamic the whole way through because it keeps changing. It's versus like more of a conniving thing. Then he was very like protective of her. Now she's treating him like he's one of her men essentially, which he is. But that wasn't the idea.
She's taking care of him, given that he's so fucked up from his.
But she's doing it like personally though, and he's like much harder to take care of than she's like essentially like spoon feeding him. Yeah.
Remember a few hundred pages ago when he was grabbing her and saying, "Oh man, you'll be in my arms again."
Yes, next
and now
time.
he's just shitting himself as she feeds him porridge.
His face is broken because he not only got like he got like a battleship crashed into him, and then he activated the back propellers and flung himself out of a window and broke all his bones. It was like picked up. Yeah, he's just in a bad way. But
yeah, I'm sad that he's hurting because he's just the coolest guy.
Yeah, he's like one of the best characters. I'd be really sad if he died. I legitimately don't remember what happens to him. It's been over 10 years since I read this. So, they've been surviving in this fucking. Yeah, they did like a gamble of waiting in the fucking in the spore covered ruins, waiting for someone to come look for her brother, who's dead. They're just almost dying here, and they got found by the Nausicaä gang minus Nausicaä. And yeah, there's good tension going on because like what's her face? Kesha is like those are filthy Tormekian dogs.
And then Asbel is actually who I was thinking of, who's like challenging.
Oh yeah, Asbel fucking jumps out and fucking lands and is like, I will fucking murder you. And then he requests a duel. Yeah, there's a lot of animosity going on, understandably, honestly. Very understandably.
Which is a good thing.
This is the thing with war. It's very hard to like put aside your differences when each side has been so horrible to the others. Like there's been this chapter, I know there's been like bodies and bodies so far anyways, but this chapter had like really big stretches of like piles of corpses. Like there was like a dream sequence with just a bunch of like naked dead bodies. There's like that.
It's also very cool.
Yeah, they look awesome. The fucking there was just like that really just like dire ghastly panel of like Nausicaä looking in the fucking oven, and there's just like a bunch of child corpses in there, and just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like he just does not shy away about showing you, even when he shows the Kushana flashing back to her like humming in the trenches, which is like one of the coolest scenes. He's like showing like the limbs of everyone getting torn apart, and that's really cool too, that like the bugs killed them all because they could feel their fear and animosity and just shred them to pieces, and she was just like singing a lullaby with her huddled men. It's so cool.
It is.
Yeah, I just love I just love violence. I love violence. No, I just love how uncensored this view of the. I mean, they literally say like in this stretch they say like you are looking. It's like a scene from hell. Like just peering into the depravity, the despair, the backbiting, the fucking just everyone is like. Even the smallest little villages just all being affected by this. Like they're all gonna die next winter. They're all gonna die from miasma inhaling. They're all gonna get killed by bugs. They're all gonna get enslaved. Like, just everything is horrible for everyone all the time. The earth is doomed, and it sucks. And Nausicaä's been going around like a fucking prophet, beaming, using the kids' psychic energy to beam messages into people's brains and tell them to get higher
there's
ground.
a skeleton that keeps talking to her.
Well, that was
That's
weird.
A weird one.
I'm not sure what that is. She calls it like she calls it like this. That's what?
The mold.
Oh, it is. Oh, I didn't understand that.
I thought it was a metaphysical entity or the representation of death.
Yeah, at first I thought it might be like Miralupa's ghost for a second. Then I was like, no, I think it's more like the idea of death, like the spirit of death is just like a psychic entity. But then, the mold. I think I knew that the first time, and you saying that reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, that's the Yeah, all that stuff with the mold was very cool. I like that panel where she was like made of the mold, where she's like puzzling out what's going on, and they're getting into like the logistics of like the rate they're moving, and they're trying to conjoin, and then it turns out like the cool thing, like the bugs don't really see this new artificial mold as like anything different, and the bugs' whole thing is just to kind of try and become one with the mold, sort of. They understand that like all this miasma of like the sea of corruption and stuff is all just a cleansing agent.
Yeah,
and they're just trying to make themselves into the biggest, strongest fucking fungus they can. Which is just cool.
Like, Nausicaä herself doesn't do very much in this stretch other than like flying around and talking to beings. But there's the scene where she is on the cliff with the clouds in the background, and that reminded me very much of the Shinji scene.
Yeah, that was I love the artwork during that bit, just the big like open landscapes, and she had like very nice panels of like her, was he called like Tito, something like that, like her little fox thing just jumping around in the leaves and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is very, very peaceful and nice. I like that stretch a lot. She took more of a backseat during this bit. Interesting stuff.
I'm fine with actually. In this time.
I am too. Like it's we don't want her to just be like the main, like she's definitely the main character, but like she's kind of become bigger than that because she's becoming more and more like this kind of holy figure that you're kind of following than just like the girl you knew at the beginning of the story. Cool. I like that guy. Chakura, the
priest.
Yeah, the priest guy who's kind of like, he's not fully like turned, but he's kind of like.
Wait, is he the Doric guy who looks like the Holy One, kind of, but younger?
Yeah, like he's got like the dot. He's got kind of like the dented baby head. And the
he's hanging out with the psychic kid.
Yeah. He's the one who they kind of like took Nausicaä like kind of prisoner, but he just like kind of lets her roam around, and he's like, how's this girl any sort of a threat? And then he's like still trying to, he's obviously like a nicer person than his job, but he's still trying to like uphold it all and be like, what are you doing with talking about this heresy, foolishness, stop it. And part of that is also he's like trying to protect them, because he's kind of like warning them like, dude, do not be chanting fucking pagan chants because the Inquisition will fucking murder you. But he's a cool character. He's like a thoughtful guy he's like clever. He was against the fungus stuff. Yeah.
Not to use the. Oh, go, Jaws, go.
No, I already said it.
Oh, not to use the phrase not to overuse the phrase right wing, because I understand that's an awkward use of it, but like the traditionalism that bleeds through with him, I keep noticing it. The implicit solution to all the problems in Nausicaä seem to literally just be every different faction has better people in it than the leaders. Just put them in charge, and everything will work out.
Well, it turned out. I didn't realize it until this bit, and he kind of doesn't spell that out so far. But it's interesting that this chapter really showed how like the priests and stuff are a lot more traditionalist than it seemed, because it seemed like the Dorics were just totally fine with using miasma and bugs. It turns out like that's just the Emperor's doing. And literally when all the priests are referring to the Emperor, they're not really referring. I mean, they are like technically, but really their leader was Mirolupa this whole time. Like he was the shadow. Because he's a younger brother, he's not supposed to be the emperor. Like his older brother is the emperor technically, but because he had he inherited the psychic powers, and he's like the spiritual leader. He was really the guy who was in charge, and the other guy's just been like living for 100 years, like switching bodies and just being a weirdo. But he spent a lot of time training the Hydra, I guess, and now he's in charge. So it's interesting that now the Dorok Empire has like this clash inside of it, where there's all the traditionalist crypt priests who just are interested in upholding religious tenets, and there's this other guy who doesn't give a fuck about any religious thing, and he's just interested in winning this war. He literally is like, that was my favorite scene. I'll just jump into it, but like my favorite sequence is when they go down to try and find Kushana's men. And that was a great, like, I love those, like, build-ups, like, fight towards something. Like, they just find a bunch of splattered fucking corpses, like, crushed in their armor. And they're like, what the fuck happened? They just follow the trail of blood to this fucking Hydra, like 50 swords stuck in it. Like, most of them would, like, snapped at the hilt. And Yupa is there to recognize it and fucking murder it, actually. And then, yeah, they're fucking terrifying. Like, I'd forgotten how fucking scary they are. He gets so much mileage out of them. They just fucking
They remind me of the starfish beings in at the Mountains of Madness. They look like a little bit how they are described.
Oh. Well, that's cool.
Like their hands.
I'm not familiar enough, but yeah, that makes sense. I did think their hands look very starfishy, like especially when they grab Kushana's head. Yeah, like I love how just like, yeah, insurmountable they are. So much fun. Like they're just slashing at them, and then like Kushana's men who are like really strong soldiers run against them, and one of them just gets like his head splatted by like the back of an axe, and then they have like amazing sequence where they're running toward the ship, and they're like, take off, these guys are too much, and the guy as well turns around and shoots a fucking cannon through one, and he's still alive. He's like dragging himself around on his guts, and he's like, yeah, like they're so fucking scary. And then, just to finish that off, that was when I realized how badass the Emperor was. Is Yupa jumps onto the ship, goes onto the roof, and he's just standing there, like doing like the fucking Gurren Lagann pose with his arms crossed, and he's like, and that he was
really interesting.
Yeah, he was very Gilgamesh to me, where he was like, a fellow traveler, come see this scene with me. Like he's not even afraid. Like and then I thought it was just like he didn't know who Yupa. I don't think he knows who Yuppie is like from fame, but I mean, I didn't think he just thought like he's an old man. But no, he saw him like kill a Hydra, and he knows he's pretty competent, and he's just fine with him. He's just like whatever, because he's got literal eyes in the back of his head. Yeah.
He just says he is collecting.
Yeah, that's right. He's collecting strong people to make his new Turamekian Dorok Empire, and he's like, look upon this awesomeness. Look at these fucking Omu run across the landscape and eat the fungus.
Once in a 300-year scene.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then he goes in and he gets a little. They bring him like a juice pack, and he's like slurping while he's smiling, being like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. And then he spits it out, and he's like, you drink this. And the guy's like, spits out blood. He's like, I'll be with you soon, Murlupa. And they're like, toss him out, he's dirty. And he literally draws a little panel of them throwing the corpse, like, wee, into the Dorok thing. I was like, that was such an awesome, like, 6-panel sequence. And then he's drinking another thing of juice.
It looks like he's eating pills or something.
Yeah, he's like eating pills and drinking juice. He has to do like weird stuff to his body to stay alive, probably, because he is like 130 years old or something, and he's even older than Murlupa was. Yeah,
we saw the flashback dream thing with.
Yes. That was interesting. Yeah, where like it seems to be that like keeping young that way, the different way, where you don't have to always be full of tubes and inside of vats, is like, it definitely makes you look and move a lot better, but there's like a risk your body might like, I guess it's like, I forgot to put in Nausicaä for this. It's like,
I didn't want to be mean because I'm not doing it,
sorry.
But
I was just so excited.
That's fine.
I guess it's like an organ being rejected, like your skin just all tears apart and you fucking explode in horrifying guts. Yeah. That was interesting. Yeah, go on, you say stuff before I get to my favorite part.
Yeah, like my favorite scene
I feel like we have the same favorite part, so I don't even...
Well, do you know what I'm gonna...
My favorite scene is Kushana...
Yes, that's it.
Kicking ass and escaping from her.
That was so fucking
my favorite part is when is when he says Kushana needs to marry him, and they're like negotiating.
That whole sequence, from her waking up till... Yeah. That was incredible. Like Yeah, she was
She
so
just murders 4 people.
dude, so badass and
bloodstained with her
resourceful.
sword.
Like she's got like a
Blood.
evil smile on her face, and they're shouting that she's a demon. Yeah. She has like a hair ornament, and she just stabs like this gigantic man to death, and then uses the air thing to set fire to her room and come out with a blade. And they're like,
I gotta say,
they say
I think they said she has an oxygen tank or something.
Yes.
Right
Yeah,
after this, I was
purifying the
thinking,
air.
isn't the plane on fire and about to crash?
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, I guess someone managed to put it out. Like, well, it was just very. The way they were reacting is almost like they were expecting it because they like knew of the Viper. They're like, here she comes. That we were just waiting for her to wake up, and we knew
The
she was
prince
gonna
just didn't
start.
like the guy he put on guard duty.
Yeah, exactly. The prince just when she comes in, he's like, finally, you're awake, my love. She's like covered in blood, and she's like, she knows him by name, and she's like, oh, you. And he's like, yes, me. Look over there. See your troops? Yeah, if you want to rescue them, marry me. And she's like, maybe. And he's like, you can even fuck other guys. I don't care. Whatever. Try and kill me. It'll be fun. I've got eyes on the back of my head, and I'm a weirdo.
Last time you mentioned the Nordic religion seems to be still remembered, and this comes up again. Like he says, let's create our own Twilight Kingdom, and he uses the German word Götterdämmerung, which means Ragnarok. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they seem to be familiar. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that the first time I read it, but yeah, it seems to be the one religion to have survived into the. I guess there's like stragglers of Buddhism, but it's much more forgotten. Like the main religion seems to be. I guess it's the religion of both kingdoms. Yeah,
yes, of both Tauromaquia and
of both. Yeah,
the emperors.
This is like if I guess in medieval terms this would be like if the Holy Roman Empire went against some other like nation that also had the same religion, like fighting against the whole of France or something.
The West Roman Empire versus the East Roman Empire.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's like the Pope is like this guy's thing. Like
the Pope is a giant skeleton.
Well, Marilupa was kind of the Pope. Yeah. And this guy's like the Emperor, the Holy Roman Emperor. Yeah. Yeah, that was fucking great.
I'm wondering if the skeleton inspired the design for Nito in Dark Souls.
There's been a lot of skeletons.
I was thinking I was thinking a lot of Berserk influence, like that first dream sequence where she's like walking on the big corpse pile. That was very like Eclipse. I was thinking that throughout a lot of it. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Miura must be influenced by this somewhat. He has to be. It's got swords.
The skeleton did throw me violence. A bit. It made me go, we're doing this now?
Like her flying on the skeleton and stuff?
I like him. It's just very surreal and out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's why I like it. It's very, memento mori, you might say.
Nausicaä is just talking to every living being in the universe.
Yeah, her psychic area just seems to keep widening and widening. And she just
people are literally confusing her for God at this point.
Yeah, they keep like getting messages or just like can tap into her. I mean, and we know psychic people can like give people visions too, like Marilupa makes the Emperor see Nausicaä, so it's at certain points she's just like influencing so many people. That was a cool bit too. I like that dialogue between I forgot what the kid's called, Chikuku and Chakura, where he's like, oh yeah, she's like the savior on wings, and he's like, don't be silly, she that's just her glider, and he's like, yeah, okay, it's not literally a person on wings, that's how prophecies work, and he's like, damn. You got me, kid. Fair. I would take off my hat, but I'm bald. I don't have hats.
Bald people can't wear hats.
People can't wear hats. That's what. If you take one thing away from this podcast, please let it be that.
It's free. They're really leaning into. They have not let up for one moment on Nausicaä just being the best person to ever live and the savior of us all. And she's now like shooting golden. Her chest is glowing.
She has a bit of questionable. She has her weaknesses. She has moments of confusion and scaredness, and she murdered a few people.
That's what I was going to bring up. The mold reminds her of that she is not innocent, but she also accepts that she knows that.
Exactly. She's been as perfect as you could be. Like, That's what you were kind of saying, where he's good at like skirting the line between becoming like insufferable in the sort of stuff he's trying to.
I'm not saying it's not working on me, but I'm definitely noticing Nausicaä just keeps better and better and better.
She does.
She's a character that almost doesn't exist in modern fiction. She's just impossibly. And he leans into it too. It's not even just she's the best person in the sense that she's the nicest or something. It's no, she has supernatural powers and is divine in nature, and it's like something out of ancient Greece.
Yeah, I was thinking just more Christian. Like it's very it's very Jesus journey thing. It's kind of like that's kind of what I said at the beginning. Like she's kind of becoming less a I don't want to say less of a character, but she's becoming like less of like a relatable human. And more of like a holy figure almost, where you kind of can't. The level she's thinking on, it has kind of like surpassed the normal people, where she's got this, like psychic galaxy brain thing going, where she's figuring out stuff about the world at a crazy rate.
Yeah, and she's like Preston Jacobs talking to George Martin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, things have just gotten like so much like bigger and important for her, and she's just realizing her place in this so much that she's kind of becoming like impersonal in a weird way. She's becoming like an avatar, which is cool. Yeah, but it kind of makes me like Kushana and Tokugawa like more, because I like them as just like silly humans trying to survive in the midst of this. Yupa's always cool. Yeah. What happens after this? It's like the big.
I mean, I don't know if you heard me just saying that she just gets eaten by an Omu.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we also forget that she like very briefly meets like the forest people who fix her mask. Like they don't do anything else, which is like a little weird in that scene. I mean,
he just wanted to draw her smooth shoulders sticking out of the armor. That's all that was.
And she looks just like Nausicaä. Like I know. Like, I mean, he has kind of same face for a lot of the girls, to be fair. But like specifically I said before that like the forest people look a lot like her, like they look very Nausicaä coded. Yeah,
like she's a descendant of them in some way.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, and it makes sense. They're kind of like the promised people of this world. If she's the Messiah. Yeah, exactly. So it makes sense. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's not like a stretch where that terribly much happens, and it has a lot less dialogue than the previous one, so it goes by faster.
Thank God.
Yeah, we're setting up like the final act essentially. Like we're kind of past the first half of the war, and now this is more. It's become about the god warriors and the emperor and the funguses, and we're barreling toward the big apocalypse, and this was more. This was like
I don't know if you can do anything, but please try to talk more into your mic if you can.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but okay. I'm done talking anyway. So yeah. What else? Do you have anything?
Yeah, it's just still perfect. It's still a perfect manga.
It is.
I think that's going to continue to be the case for some time.
I was gonna say I think it's funny that the two, ignoring Takabi's original sin, which was not like a favorite of mine, it was just something fun I wanted to. I like that the two like. Part of this like showing Green some of my favorite manga, and both of them he's kind of been like they're really really good all the way through, but they're like not. They're not things that are going to be like his favorites, because it's more just like he recognizes their excellence, but but they're just like missing that tiny touch they need to be like something that really like speaks really personally to him, which is funny. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, Green, the Michi likes all that cool manga that I almost love.
I mean, it's stuff that I would not hesitate to recommend to literally anyone. I feel like I could tell anyone to buy this manga, and it would be a safe bet.
You couldn't recommend it to anyone who's like squeamish and who doesn't like dark.
That's true.
Things.
It's kind
this is baby shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is violent in like the cutesiest way, because like everyone is so everyone is so like rounded, and I mean it's like watching a Ghibli movie just with a lot of violence. Like
I honestly think like this is darker than the vast majority.
No, it is, but that's what I'm. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like a Ghibli movie with a load of violence. Like that's, but like that still has the appeal of a Ghibli thing, because it's like people still like normies like Princess Mononoke, even though Princess Mononoke has the scene where the guy shoots an arrow and it rips two of the guy's arms off, and he's just got bloody stumps, and he's like he like falls on the ground. That's the kind of violence that this has, where it's like people like there's like lots of blood splatter and limbs flying around, but they're all just like it's a Ghibli arm that's flying around.
Yeah, it's violent without being gory. It's just a very matter of fact depiction. Oh, this person got destroyed, but it's not fetishizing it or lingering on it.
Like even though this probably has a higher body count than Berserk, it's not. I wouldn't say this is more as violent as Berserk. Like because Berserk, shows you in horrible detail like someone's eyeball exploding out of their head, or like someone's entrails, or like the horrible screaming faces of everyone.
Like I feel this one like reaches me more than many of.
Sure, but I'm saying from a normie point of view. If you recommend this to someone, I think people would be like kind of like some people will be shocked about it. Like if you're a real prude, yeah, but like just your average person would be like fine with this level of violence. I think. I don't know. I don't know. It's the way that it's presented. It's like all about the presentation. They would be like more. It would kind of fade into the background for them, where it'd be like more of a.
Yeah, I don't mean just the violence, but just the entire darkness of the thing.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's true.
I suppose it's a little bleak.
It's a little bleak, yeah. People don't. Some panels, especially, people don't like seeing the emaciated children corpses that much.
Yeah,
weird other people. I know.
Weird people.
But I didn't remember that stuff for the most part. Like I if you'd asked me, I definitely would have said, "Oh yeah, there's like violent stuff and lots of people die." But I forgot a lot about like the like the blood and the corpse piles. That wasn't what stuck in my mind when I thought of it. I thought of like the big sweeping vistas and the air battles and the bugs. Yeah. Okay. Fuck. Well, yeah. Next time, Volume 6, and we're almost done. Just 2 more, and it'll be over.
Yeah, but we're really already.
I think you'll like the ending.
Not much to say.
Well, there's never that much to say about Nausicaä, and this was half of what we usually cover, so it makes sense that it's half as long. Like Nausicaä is just like a very well crafted story that has interesting like moments that we kind of run through, and then it's like it's good all the way through. The artwork's still just as excellent, and it's always a good pace and consistent, and it's just a very well crafted piece of media.
Yes. Okay, I guess let's stop.
Let's do it. Let's just stop just like that.
Button hitter.